to plan for rain on your wedding day.
Hi, welcome back to Bride Society. I'm Rebecca, this is Laura, and we are talking rain. We are British, and therefore we must talk about weather.
It is a law. Yeah.
Yes. And we want you to have the most amazing wedding day, come rain or shine. So we are trying to fully prep you in all the ways possible for rain on your wedding day. Be that that you have, whether you have an outdoor ceremony planned and you're trying to think of contingencies and backup plans and things you can do in case it rains, or even if you have an indoor ceremony, or not just ceremony, whole wedding planned, and you're just kind of trying to cater for rain happening in and amongst, to and from, all those kind of things. So probably something for everybody, at least in Britain. Yeah.
So there is, of course, the obvious things, like if you are planning to have an outdoor ceremony, just to have that backup plan, contingency plan, if there were to be rain on the day. Is there an indoor space that you can move to? Are you going to provide umbrellas? Is there going to be some sort of shelter? Potentially, could you put up a marquee? Things like that, just in case you don't want all your guests sitting kind of under a deluge of water.
Yeah, it's not the best idea.
And keeping an eye on the forecast in the run-up. Now, we're not saying kind of you're glued to your app on your phone, looking at the forecast, monitoring, because there's nothing you can do about the weather. Whatever is going to happen is going to happen. But just keeping an eye on it so you can potentially put some of those backup plans in motion kind of a little bit in advance if you think it is going to be wet all day on the day.
Because they're pretty much looking like a certainty. Be like, right, let's start actioning this and move to this plan, isn't it? So, I mean, if you think you're quite likely to get rain, so that you maybe have decided this months in advance, maybe you're later in the year getting married, or very early in the year, so you're just making plans for rain. It's not a quick, this is a plan B contingency thing. This is like, we're making plans. So maybe that you're thinking about like the flooring. So if you are having, say, like a marquee wedding, an outdoor covered wedding, flooring, because obviously mud, not great, particularly with laying shoes in particular, and particularly like mudded areas. I mean, this could also apply if you're say the car park even to a main building, isn't sort of a proper ground, like it's not cement, it's not pavement kind of thing. Just thinking about the flooring. So can you cover kind of particularly like walkways, that kind of thing, like reception areas, just the high traffic footfall areas that are on like grass, that type of thing. Can we hire some kind of flooring or washable rugs or something that can kind of be laid out that you can get in ahead of time?
And choosing decor, for example, if you want to have some decor outside, like your welcome sign, for example, just choosing what that is made of, what kind of welcome sign you're using. So chalkboards probably aren't going to hold up very well in the rain. You'll have a very, upset looking names on there. So you might choose something like acrylic, so plastic, so waterproof, absolutely fine to be outside. Any other decorations, if you have bunting, for example, do you make it out of something that is okay to be outside? Just those considerations, so anything you might have DIY'd yourself or just spent money on isn't ruined if it happens to rain on the wedding day.
Yeah, and thinking about like the lighting element of your decorations as well. Like if that means it's like to be a slightly duller day, slightly dull now, and you want to kind of lift it a bit, make it kind of cozy, sort of leaning into that whole side of it a little bit. You may be having like your twinkle lights or this kind of thing, and maybe on the external as well, like where you welcome sign it or all these kind of things. But again, making sure that you're using outdoor lighting, not indoor ones that are going to cause a fire or your batteries are going to get drenched, all those kind of things. So yeah, again, just checking those. But I say there's really nice ways still to decorate outside, even if it's a bit damp or less than desirable.
If it is looking highly likely and you're expecting rain on your wedding day, you might be thinking ahead, and you could maybe provide a basket of ponchos for your guests, or umbrellas, which could double up as wedding favours. So if you are having an outdoor ceremony, for example, and you are having an outdoor ceremony regardless of what the weather is doing, at least you are giving your guests some protection if it is raining, so they can have like custom umbrellas, either with like your names on, or clear umbrellas perhaps, if you want to be able to still kind of maintain that sight line. Kind of, the umbrellas aren't blocking everybody else's views.
And as well, just if you want to still have that kind of cohesive look, because obviously guests might bring their own umbrellas in these situations, right? But they're going to be probably whatever umbrella they have with whatever branding is on there and stuff. And you might still want these photographs and stuff. So if you want to still be able to kind of control the aesthetic, as it were, and as it because this video is all about like building rain into your day and taking charge of it as much as is humanly possible. And so being able to like have the custom like umbrellas that double up as favours, or as Laura said, the clear ones, all this kind of thing, so it still looks intentional kind of thing. And when you were talking about the ponchos, I was just picturing like this group shot of like everyone in their like semi like matching ponchos. I think that could be quite fun.
Yeah.
And a memory.
Yeah,
it's a memory.
Yeah, it is. It's embracing what's happening, and it provides you then unique wedding photos in a way.
It does.
That you'll look back and hopefully think, oh yeah, this is what happened on that day. Like, don't we all look great in our like matching plastic ponchos that you get at a theme park and things like that?
Fun.
So,
yeah. And continuing on the photography theme as well, like again, leaning into the rain and like embracing that. So you can potentially come up and workshop it maybe ahead of time with your photographer about like what can they do in the rain. Like, are there some kind of creative shots that they can do with sort of dramatic lighting, using reflections and the raindrops and this kind of thing, like, so you can get some quite arty photographs at the end of it. So that could be worth a discussion, and presumably it might also be worth a discussion about if they've got the kind of necessarily like protective equipment, like for them to be able to do that, so you don't get your heart kind of too set on these like outdoor wet weather like photographs if they haven't got that equipment. But it's worth a discussion.
Yes. Thinking about footwear, so if you're a bride and you've got some wedding shoes, you might also be thinking, if I want photos outside, or if part of the day is outside, maybe a different pair of shoes or wellies, maybe white wellies because they're like bridal, that you could change into at some point of the day, so you can still enjoy being outside, but there's no danger of either ruining your like beautiful wedding shoes through mud or like puddles, or like sinking into the grass because the rain has made it all soggy and sinkable. Just thinking about other shoes, and this could go for your bridal party and like guests as well. You can say part of the day is going to be outside. If the weather's looking like it's going to rain, maybe think about your choice of footwear, or just telling them the terrain that it's going to be, so they can make the executive decision of what they're wearing in advance. Yeah,
that's true. You don't want to show up expecting to be indoors and be like, okay. Yeah. And then your dress or outfit. Obviously, we're trying to keep that kind of dry and things for as long as possible. You might hit a point in the day where you just go, let's just go for it, and then you just go outside, get drenched, and have some really fun photos, have a good time, and all this kind of thing. But I appreciate, like, prior to that, you might want to still look how you paid all the money to look, if you see what I mean. And so, I mean, obviously, like, there's, being conscious about lifting your dress up off the floor as you're walking along. If it's a big dress, is there maybe a friend bridesmaid that you can kind of, or even groomsmen who then don't need to be lifting their own dresses up potentially, that can kind of help maneuver your dress around so it's not dragging over like the wet or the mud, that kind of thing. Even going as far as like if you're having these outdoor pictures where you're obviously stood static for a while, is there some kind of like sheet that can maybe strategically put down underneath you that you can be hidden, but you're not just going to stand there and soak up all, all the water. Particularly if you've got a big dress.
And also just something as simple as having someone follow you around with an umbrella. So whether that's your new spouse or someone else that can be designated kind of umbrella holder, just to kind of walk with you, so yeah, you are protected for as long as possible, or for as long as you want to be.
Yeah. So again, if you're at a time of year where rain is highly likely, thinking about getting heating in, because a lot of the time with rain tends to be a little bit chilly, unless you're somewhere like Mexico in the summer and but anyway, start daydreaming about that. But yeah, getting some kind of like heating in, obviously, like if you're kind of in a colder venue or outside, just to keep that space warm, and having some dry designated like areas where you can really get cozy. Maybe there's a fireplace in the venue or something like that, or you can just make the lighting cozy, like cushions. Maybe it's like a no footwear zone, so all like the socky shoes have been left at the entranceway or on a designated rack, and you can all like there's all rugs, and where you can just really get cozy and make the most of that kind of feeling, that vibe.
If you are moving locations throughout the day, so say your ceremony is in one venue and then a reception is somewhere else, if it's going to rain, could you possibly provide transportation for your guests so you can move everybody without kind of too much hassle and too much time outside where it doesn't need to be, so keeping everybody dry moving between locations? And can you build any flexibility into your timeline, so a bit of a buffer zone around certain events during the day? So if there are certain things that you want to happen outside, but maybe there's a sudden downpour, but that might move on quite quickly, you've got that flexibility to kind of move things about and maybe delay something happening without the knock-on effect of delaying other things which are set times throughout the day. So you don't want to be affecting things like catering, who will be working towards a certain time for dinner. But if you've built that buffer zone, there is a little bit of flexibility to delay or move things about.
Yeah. And thinking about your guests' experience. So obviously we've touched on bits as we've gone, but it's kind of keeping them informed about what's happening. So obviously that is the point about like letting them know what kind of venue they're in for, so they can kind of dress in their feet and things appropriately and bring whatever. But yeah, keeping them informed like through the day. So that might be things that like maybe that as they've arrived there's a sudden deluge and the ceremony was in one place, is now being moved, this is where they now need to be, or just changes that might be in the schedule, that on the order of the day that you've put out, like making sure people know that certain things have changed, so they end up in the right place at the right time. Wandering around like lost sheep and things like that, and people just not knowing what's going on. So yeah, so that might be a quick edit on the order of the day thing. It might be that you've got ushers kind of extending their duties from the ceremony to try and help direct people. It might be your what they call compare.
Oh yeah,
like making an announcement. But people kind of take your lead. So, and obviously you're the most visual thing to every single person, because every single person there knows who you two are. So they will basically follow where you go.
And they'll also take your lead on the attitude that you have to the day. It may be disappointing if it's not quite the day that you envisaged, if you were hoping for an outdoor ceremony in sunshine, but the weather isn't playing ball. But if you can stay positive and maintain a positive attitude and kind of embrace the day, your guests will do the same, and you will still have an amazing wedding day.
And then you'll be there all in your ponchos and dancing out in the rain regardless of it at the end of the night, right?
Yeah. So, I mean, rain on your wedding day is meant to be a sign of good luck. Now, whether someone just made that up to try and make people feel better, I don't know. But
Probably a British person made that up.
it is meant to be a symbol of good luck and new beginnings. So kind of embrace that, stay positive. It's going to be memorable. In fact, it might be even more memorable if it's kind of torrential rain and you're all just having fun dancing in the rain. So yeah, just try and embrace it as much as you can. At the end of the day, if you're married, that's a successful wedding day. So
yeah. So we hope you found some of these tips helpful for you in sort of like mentally and practically preparing for your wedding day. And we hope you get whatever the weather is that you most desire. But yes, and we hope you have a wonderful wedding day. If you have any other sort of tips or ideas that you've been considering and planning for, please drop them in the comments below for other couples that might be watching. They'll undoubtedly find that really helpful, and sort of we're all part of a community, so we all want you to like help each other as well, not just us here. So anyway, we hope you liked the video. If you did, if you could give it a like. And of course, don't forget to subscribe, because we're here every Friday with even more content.